What name did your family force on you that nearly ruined your life? Mine was Junior. Not even a real name, just an expectation. I was named after my father, and from the moment I could understand words, I wasn't treated like my own person. I was Little John, Junior, or the next one. Everything I did was measured against him. At first I didn't mind, kids don't question that stuff. But as I got older, it stopped feeling like a name and started feeling like a role I was trapped in. My dad was the successful one in our family, the athlete, the confident one, the one everyone respected. And I was supposed to become that, automatically. Except I wasn't him. I liked art. I liked writing. I wasn't terrible at sports, but I didn't care about being the best. And that was always the problem. Whenever I showed interest in anything different, I'd hear the same line, "Don't embarrass the name." High school was where it got worse. Teachers already had expectations before I even spoke. Coaches pushed me into sports I didn't want. Even my dad introduced me like I was his backup version. I started going by Jay just to feel like I existed separately from him. That didn't go over well. One day, after I told my parents I didn't want to try out for football again, my dad snapped, said I was throwing away the name, like it was something I owed him to carry. That night, I stopped arguing. Instead, I focused on what I actually cared about: design. I built small projects, started posting them online, took freelance work under just Jay, no last name, no junior, just me. By graduation, I had enough client work to skip the local college route my dad demanded. When I told my parents I was moving out to pursue design full-time, my dad told me I was making a mistake I'd regret forever. I left anyway. The turning point came a year later. One of my projects went semi-viral online, then a bigger client found me, then another. Suddenly, Jay had a reputation of his own, completely separate from him. My dad eventually called, first time in months. He didn't apologize, just said, "People keep asking if you're my son." I paused for a second, then said, "I'm not Junior." And I hung up. For the first time in my life, the name didn't belong to him.
Would I be wrong for cutting my parents off after they gave my college fund to my stepbrother? I genuinely don't know if I'm overreacting anymore. I'm 18, graduating in 3 weeks, and I feel like my entire future just got ripped out from under me. My grandparents had been saving money for my college since I was a kid. Every birthday they'd talk about it, every report card, every achievement. They'd remind me that if I kept working hard, I'd be okay. So I did. Straight A's, part-time job, no partying, no stupid decisions. I got accepted into a really good engineering program and honestly thought everything was finally lining up. Then last night, my mom and stepdad sat me down. My stepbrother Caleb apparently needs a second chance. He's 22. 2 DU is, dropped out twice, can't keep a job longer than a month. My parents decided trade school would turn his life around, except they already paid for it, using almost all of my college fund, tuition, apartment, truck, everything. I thought they were joking at first. I literally laughed because I couldn't believe someone would actually do that to their own kid. Then my stepdad goes, "Caleb needs more help than you do. You're smart enough to figure life out." That sentence honestly broke something in me. Now I can't afford the university I planned on attending. I'd have to either take massive loans or completely change schools. Meanwhile, Caleb's posting pictures online talking about his fresh start like he earned any of it. My mom keeps saying I should support family and that money isn't more important than your brother. But it's not even about the money anymore. It's the fact they chose him over me after I spent my entire life trying to do everything right. I haven't really spoken to them since last night. My grandma keeps texting asking why I sound upset, but I haven't told her yet because I don't want to start family drama. Part of me wants to leave after graduation and never come back, but another part of me feels guilty for even thinking that. So honestly, would I be wrong for cutting them off over this? Update. Would I be wrong for cutting my parents off after they gave my college fund to my stepbrother? First off, I did not expect my last post to blow up like it did. Thank you to everyone who took the time to reply and offer me advice. A lot of people told me the same thing. Tell my grandparents the truth. I didn't want to at first because I thought it would destroy the family, but after reading thousands of comments, I realized something. I wasn't the one who destroyed anything. My parents did. So I finally called my grandmother. I told her everything. At first she thought I was exaggerating until I sent her screenshots of the bank transfers and texts from my mom talking about Caleb's fresh start. Then she got really quiet. Like, scary quiet. She just said, "I'll handle it." Apparently my grandparents had no idea my parents touched the account. They assumed the money was still sitting there for my school. 2 weeks later, my mom started blowing up my phone. Screaming, crying, calling me selfish. Turns out my grandmother completely changed her will. Everything that was supposed to go through my parents someday, gone. Now it goes directly to me instead. Savings, property, everything. And apparently when my stepdad tried defending himself, my grandmother told him, "If Caleb deserved the money so badly, you should have used your own." I honestly think that was the first time anyone in my family ever stood up for me. Meanwhile, Caleb already dropped out of trade school. The truck got repossessed last week. And somehow I'm still being blamed for tearing the family apart. But honestly, for the first time in years, I don't even care anymore. I accepted an offer from another school yesterday. I'll still need loans, but my grandparents are helping me directly now. As for my parents, I haven't spoken to them in over a month. And weirdly enough, life's been a lot more peaceful without them.
What's the moment you realized your family would never treat you fairly, no matter what you did? I always thought if I just did everything right, it would eventually balance out. I was the good kid. Straight A's, part-time job after school, never talked back, never caused problems. My younger brother Tyler was the opposite. If something went wrong, it was either bad luck or someone else's fault, never his. And somehow, my parents always believed it. The breaking point came when I was 17. I had been saving for a used car for almost a year. Every shift after school, every weekend gone, every dollar carefully set aside. That car wasn't just a want. It was my way out of always depending on rides and asking for favors. One day I left my wallet on my desk before work. I remember hesitating for a second, then thinking, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. When I got home, my wallet was gone. My card was maxed out. Online purchases, games, random subscriptions. All of it gone in a few hours. Tyler was in the living room playing on his console like nothing happened. I asked him. He didn't even look up. I don't know where it is. So I went to my parents. I still remember my mom's sigh before I even finished explaining. My dad just looked tired already. "Are you sure you didn't lose it?" my mom asked. I told them about the charges. That's when I finally got their attention. But not in the way I hoped. "He's just a kid," my dad said. "You're making this bigger than it is." That night, I didn't argue anymore. I realized arguing was pointless, so I started planning instead. I opened a new bank account they didn't know about. I moved what was left of my money. I stopped contributing to family expenses that somehow always came out of my pocket. And I waited. 2 weeks later, everything started falling apart. Bills they assumed I'd cover didn't get paid. Groceries were suddenly missing. My rides, my help, my money, gone. On my 18th birthday, I left. No yelling, no confrontation, just a note on the counter. I wasn't difficult. I was convenient. Months later, I got a text from my dad. "We didn't realize how much you were doing." I stared at it for a long time, then finally set my phone down without replying, because that was the moment I realized something simple. They didn't misunderstand me. They just never tried to.
AITA for refusing to give my sister her dog back after she abandoned him with me. Okay, this has completely divided my family, and I honestly don't know if I'm in the wrong anymore. So about a year ago, my younger sister adopted a golden retriever puppy. Everybody told her not to do it because she has a history of jumping into things and then losing interest a month later. She gets obsessed with hobbies, spends a ton of money on them, then drops them completely. But she swore this was different. For the first couple months, that dog was basically her entire personality. She posted him constantly online. Matching bandanas, expensive toys, custom dog bowls, all of it. You know the type. But after the cute puppy phase wore off, she slowly stopped taking care of him properly. She'd complain about having to wake up early to walk him. She'd get annoyed about vet bills. Anytime she wanted to go out with friends, she'd dump him on somebody else. Then she moved into a new apartment that didn't allow dogs. She came to me crying, saying she only needed me to keep him for a few weeks until she figured things out. I agreed because I didn't want the dog ending up in a shelter. That was 8 months ago. In those 8 months, she barely acknowledged him. She visited maybe twice total, never paid for food, never helped with grooming or vet bills, never even asked how he was doing unless I brought him up first. Meanwhile, this dog completely bonded with me. I work from home, so I'm with him constantly. We have a routine now. Morning walks, park trips, sitting together while I work. He sleeps beside my bed every single night. Honestly, he helped me a lot mentally, too. I was going through a rough time when he came to stay with me, and having him around made life feel less lonely. At this point, he doesn't even feel like my sister's dog. He feels like my dog. Well, last week my sister called me out of nowhere, acting all excited because she found a new apartment that allows pets. Then she says, "I'll come pick him up this weekend." Like it was the most normal thing in the world. I genuinely thought she was joking. I told her no. Immediately, she started freaking out, crying, yelling, saying I was stealing her dog and turning the family against her. Now my parents are involved too. My mom says the dog legally belongs to my sister because she originally adopted him. My dad says I should do the right thing because she's finally ready to be responsible. But here's the part that really messed me up emotionally. My sister actually came over yesterday to see him. The second he saw her, he didn't get excited at all. He literally walked behind me and stayed there. She kept calling his name, trying to get him to come over, and he wouldn't move. Then when she picked up his leash, he started whining and pulling back toward me. I swear the room got dead silent. Even my dad admitted afterward that it was hard to watch. And now I feel guilty because my sister has been crying nonstop, saying I'm ruining her life and that everyone deserves a second chance. But at the same time, this dog finally feels safe and stable. I honestly believe giving him back would confuse and hurt him, so now my family's split. Half think I'm protecting the dog, and the other half think I'm selfish and stealing someone else's pet. AITA?
My coworker stole my idea, became the company hero. then got exposed in front of the CEO. About 8 months ago, my company announced a competition for employees to submit ideas that could improve productivity. Nobody really cared. Most people figured management would ignore everything like they always did, but I didn't. For weeks, I stayed up after work building an automated tracking system that could replace hours of manual reporting. I'm talking dashboards, auto-generated reports, live data updates, and the whole thing. It actually worked. A process that normally took entire departments almost 6 hours a day suddenly took 15 minutes. I was proud of it. And because I'm apparently an idiot, I showed it to my coworker Ryan before presenting it officially. At first, he acted impressed, asked questions, complimented me, said stuff like, "Dude, this could seriously get you promoted." Then 3 days later, I walked into a company-wide meeting, and Ryan was standing at the front of the room presenting my system like he built it himself. Same design, same wording, same typo I accidentally left in one of the report tabs. I remember genuinely feeling sick listening to everyone clap for him. Management absolutely loved it. Within weeks, Ryan got promoted, got a raise, and started acting like he was some genius entrepreneur. Every day he posted cringe motivational quotes on LinkedIn about hard work and innovation. I tried going to HR, and they asked if I had proof. At the time, not really. So nothing happened. But here's the thing Ryan didn't understand. The system only worked because I constantly maintained it behind the scenes. There were hidden bugs, temporary fixes, backup scripts, stuff only I understood because I built the entire thing alone at 2 a.m. over multiple weeks. Then corporate decided to expand the system company-wide, and everything exploded. Reports started corrupting. Entire departments lost data. Executives were getting wrong financial numbers. People were panicking. And suddenly Ryan, the creator, couldn't explain how any of it worked. Apparently during one emergency meeting, the CEO asked him how the backend functions operated. And Ryan responded, "I think the server's just overloaded from success." That line instantly became an office joke. Leadership brought in outside analysts to investigate. Took them less than a day to realize Ryan had absolutely no clue what he was talking about. Then they checked the original file history. Every single document traced back to me. Timestamps, edits, backup versions, everything. Ryan got fired that same afternoon. Security literally walked him out while half the office watched through the windows. And the craziest part? The CEO personally called me afterward. Not only did I get full credit, I got Ryan's promotion too. Last week they put me in charge of the entire project. Ryan still posts motivational content online sometimes, but comments are disabled now. What's the most unfair thing your parents ever did to you? My parents made me give my college fund to my stepbrother because he needed it more. I found out 3 weeks before graduation. For my entire life, my grandparents had been putting money aside for me. Every birthday, every Christmas, they'd tell me, "Don't worry about college, we've got you covered if you work hard." And I did work hard. Straight A's, part-time job at a grocery store, skipped parties, stayed out of trouble. I got accepted into a really solid engineering school and honestly thought everything was finally paying off. Then one night, my mom asked me to sit down at the kitchen table. My stepbrother Brandon had gotten into trouble again. DUI, failed classes, dropped out twice. Apparently, he needed a fresh start, and my parents decided trade school was perfect for him. Cool. Good for him. Then my mom slid the bank papers over. They had already emptied almost all of my college fund to pay for his tuition, apartment, and truck. I genuinely thought it was a joke at first. I remember laughing and saying, "Okay, seriously, where's my money?" And my stepdad goes, dead serious, "Brandon needs more support than you do. You're smart enough to figure things out on your own." That sentence changed something in me permanently. I ended up going to community college because I couldn't afford the university anymore. Meanwhile, Brandon posted photos online of his new beginning with the truck they basically bought him using my future. The crazy part, he dropped out again within 4 months. The truck got repossessed 6 months later. And when I got upset about it, my mom actually said, "You should be proud you helped your brother." After that, I stopped coming home much. I transferred schools, worked 2 jobs, took out loans, and basically disappeared from the family. Nobody really reached out except my grandmother. Turns out, she had no idea what happened. When I finally told her, she went completely silent on the phone. Like scary silent. 2 weeks later, she called me again and said, "Check your email." She had sent over paperwork showing she'd changed her will entirely. Every single thing that was originally supposed to go through my parents was now going directly to me instead. House, savings, everything. Apparently, my mom and stepdad lost their minds when they found out. My grandmother told them, and I quote, "If you wanted Brandon to have my money so badly, you shouldn't have stolen the first batch." I graduated last year debt-free because of her. Brandon still blames me somehow. My parents barely talk to me anymore. Honestly, best outcome possible.